No, I couldn't ask for another.
All right. Here we are live. This is the Healthy Trinity show. I call it show for lack of a better term. I don't know what this is. Is it a show? Is it a podcast? Is it a video blog? Is it an interview? I don't know. Maybe someone can help me classify this thing because it is what it is. So today, so anyway, the idea behind our show here is because I want to showcase people who have really just redefined their life through health, through their healthy body, through their healthy mind, and healthy finances. And today we have, I've been referring to her as the flamethrower, the boss, the one and only Mrs. Anica Relaford. She has, if anybody out there is listening has ever had the opportunity to hear her speak and just really pour her heart into people, your life has changed. She has a natural gift to just love on people and be able to inspire them like I have really never heard. So we're very honored to have her on. So Anica, thank you so much for being here with us.
It's my honor, my pleasure, my friend. I adore
Good.
you.
So what I want to do first, again, this is kind of like a new thing I'm doing here. Um, I have Anica's transformation video of just showing where she's been and where she's at. So we're gonna go ahead and roll that real quick, and then we're gonna dive right into her story. So let's go ahead and roll your story, Anica. Wow, that is amazing. That is you're great. So okay, so let's jump into this, Anica. I want to know, and we all want to know your story. We want to know just what was life like, what did you do, and what happened. So go ahead and dive into that for us, if you will.
Yeah, I always love to share the hard before we share the holy, because I think a lot of us are experiencing some just really crazy, difficult times in life, and life isn't always easy. And that's kind of where I was finding myself at for a really, really long time in life, was that I always felt like things were just so freaking hard, Josh.
Yeah.
So a little bit about me. So I am on the brink of 40 years old right now, which is crazy, but I really didn't start my path to finding myself until I was 35. And I was struggling for about, I want to say about 10, 15 years.
Hmm.
I think some of us, when we get out of school, high school, we're trying to find ourselves and trying to find our path in life. And it was a really big struggle for me. And I thought who I was defined by what I did in life. And so I love being a part of healthcare. It was something that I had a huge passion for, was helping people. And I kind of wanted to be a part of the solution. I grew up seeing a lot of negative things in life, a lot of things about myself I really didn't like, and we'll go into that. But I thought that I could help be a part of the solution. So I dove into helping people in healthcare. Well, what I started to realize over the years was that it was taking a toll on me. I didn't realize that my environment was a byproduct of what I was becoming myself. And unfortunately, I wasn't taking care of myself. I was taking care of everybody else, right? Um, I was married, taking care of my husband, taking care of my son, taking care of all these people at work, but that I was sacrificing myself in the process. And at 35 years old, I woke up and found myself just unrecognizable. I didn't recognize the person in the mirror at all. I was 205 pounds. I was pre-diabetic. My cholesterol was at the roof at 269. I was exhausted all the time. I was unhappy. My marriage was on the brink of failing. And I was looking at myself and I was like, how did this come to pass? You know, do you ever wake up and you have that moment, you're like, how the heck did I get here? Right?
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of people end up in life is finally they just wake up one day and say, how the heck did I end up here? Now, it wasn't for lack of trying to change some things in my life. I had tried, but I had never found direction.
Mhm.
And that's when I came into this amazing vehicle that you and I are a part of. And it taught me how to really kind of be in charge of my life and learn how to make smart choices and invest in myself. And that's when things really, really started to take form and take shape. So, do you want me to get into that a little bit, or do you want to just go back and forth on this a
No,
little?
keep going. Keep going.
Yeah.
I mean,
So I knew that I needed to change. I just didn't know how. I tried everything under the sun. I tried different jobs. I tried different relationships. God love my husband for loving me. You know, I tried all sorts of things for years and years to find myself. And it wasn't until about it was August 2016 when I really made the decision that I was going to get my life in order. See, I truly, truly believe now that it takes an act of inspiration or desperations in somebody's life in order to make a significant change. Wouldn't you agree?
yeah, absolutely.
I just wasn't suffering bad enough. It just didn't hurt bad enough, right? And I thought it did. But it wasn't until our son, who was 6 at the time, I was 35, came down with an extremely rare condition that only 6 kids had ever been diagnosed with at the time. And he went into the hospital that I actually had a shift.
Mm.
I actually had a shift. See, I had had a history of just having really bad habits, being reactionary, bad stories that I was telling myself. And it was in that moment when I looked at him fighting for his life that I held up the mirror at myself, Josh, and I said, if he can fight and contend like this, why can't I? And it
That's
was
quite
that
an
moment.
inspiration.
It would just, you know what? It just had me hit the BS button on myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I never know when those pain points are for people. Obviously, it took that for me to have this awakening. But in that moment, I had to hit the BS button. And I was like, you know what? If he can sit there at 6 years old and contend and fight, why can't I?
Hmm.
And luckily, that's where we came into this amazing community of people who just wanted to help people. And it was in that moment where I started to be inspired by stories of people who had been through extremely, really hard things that had overcome obstacles and found a way not to just like survive in life anymore, but freaking thrive. And I wanted that more than anything. And that is when this amazing community and mission found me. And I dove in feet first.
Yep.
So March 17th, 2017, I made the investment in myself to take care of myself physically, emotionally, spiritually, and do the hard work on myself because I had a really, really, I'm just going to be real. I have to laugh at myself now. But I had a really bad habit of lying to myself. I had a really bad time of telling stories that just didn't serve me and just didn't help me. And now through this, it was amazing, but I just didn't realize I had such bad habits.
Hmm.
I really didn't realize I was lying to myself about what I put in my mouth, what I put in my head, the people that I was around on a daily basis, right? Like
Oh yeah.
I
Oh
just
yeah.
had these habits. We just don't know sometimes what we just don't know, right?
Hmm.
And through this, it was a path to self discovery. Yeah, I lost 70 pounds in 5.5 months, which was absolutely asinine, right? Like I tried for 15 years, all these diets and programs and all of this stuff. I was in healthcare, like I should know what to do, right?
Exactly.
Nothing ever worked. And then we come into this vehicle, and all of a sudden I was dropping it like it was hot, like 10 pounds my first week, 18 pounds my first month. But what I was starting to do was starting to learn about myself and why I did the things that I did. And I became more empowered on making healthier habits that help me instead of hinder me. And with that, I just saw that what we were a part of, this mission of helping people live healthier, most amazing lives and be in control of their life. Like I was like, dude, so many people need this. What if I switched and started being on the proactive end of healthcare instead of the reactive end of sick care? Right?
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
that is the game changer shift right there. In my opinion, is when you go from treating and reacting to preventing to you know, just getting ahead of it.
Yeah.
And so that to me was the game changer too. It wasn't being reactive anymore; it was being proactive. Um, but it's like what you said earlier: when you contend, you're not surviving. You're not just doing enough to be okay. You're contending. You're fighting. And you're fighting those bad habits. Of how many years did you will not even realize you had the bad habits?
Yeah.
You didn't
Most
realize
people
it.
just don't know. You know, we're byproducts of what we grow up with, right?
Hmm.
So that is our habit. That's our norm. That's how we survive. That's our biological nature. We do what's necessary in order to survive, right? But then as we get older, we start having conscious thinking and being able to use this front part of the brain, and we can make those healthier choices and habits. But I truly believe now, knowing what we know, is that people don't want to be told what to do. They want to be shown what they can do,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And that's what we get to be a part of is the creative process in helping people show them what they can do because they just don't even know what's possible.
That's right. That is so effective. That you're not operating out of fear anymore when you're not just living for what you can't do, but living for what you can do.
Yeah.
Um, you're living out of abundance, thriving, like you said, and that's so much more of a powerful motivator than fear. So um, I I can completely relate, and I hope there's a lot of people out there that just that they're able to see that they can do so much more than what they think they can do. So when you're dropping 5, 10 pounds a week, doing what you're doing, you did some amazing things. And not only just dropping the weight, I think like at least for a lot of people that I've talked to, the weight is like that's a great afterthought.
Yeah.
But the real change comes with your mindset,
Yeah.
right? So tell me how your mindset shifted from how it was before when you were being very reactive to things to going through this program and learning more about how we can better that. So talk on that a little bit if you can.
Yeah. So what really started to change for me was for the first time in my life, I felt like I had control.
Mm,
For years and years and years, I didn't feel like I had control over much, to be honest with you. I battled depression, anxiety. I never felt in control of any part of my life, relationships, finances, and I desperately wanted control. In fact, it ate me up daily where it caused massive amount of stress. I always felt like I had to perform, be perfect, all of these things that just didn't serve me, right? But for the first time, I actually felt for what I was doing, I actually started to see results and have success because I was starting to do small things repeatedly that added up to this a massive amount of success. And that's what habits are, you guys. Like,
Mhm.
we just all have habits, we just don't even realize it. But if we do something enough times repeatedly, it becomes a habit. So if you do something, it's either going to help you or it's going to hinder you. I
Yes.
just had a really bad habit of doing a lot of bad things repetitively over time that just really weren't in my best interest. So what I started to realize through this is that what if I started doing things, small things that I could do repetitively over time that added up to long-term success and fulfillment? And that's what I loved about this. So it was little things like increasing my water. It was little things about stopping myself when I was getting anxious. There was all of these things that started to happen, but what I started to realize was that I could be in control of the things that I could be in control of and let go of the things that I wasn't control of. And what I
Mm.
really wanted control over was how I lived my life. I never wanted to hit the end of my life with regret. See, I think life is there's going to be pain in life, and we're going to either suffer the pain of discipline or suffer the pain of regret. And I had watched my grandmother and a bunch of other people before me live in place of regret. They didn't live long enough because of diabetes and all of these things. It was choices and habits that had built up. And I never wanted to regret my life. And at 35, I was starting to regret it. So when I came into this and I started seeing what was possible, I started looking at my life and I started to say, guess what? I want to be in control. And I know that if I do things that help me, I can get to where I want to be. So with this, there was a lot of things that are wrong. Are you okay if I go into kind of some of the things that were so good? Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, cool. So menopause is acting up right now. We're having hot flashes, as you can tell. So that's always fun. Menopause at 39.
Yay,
So
40.
God, I love it, man. I tell you. So, but we don't have control over those things, so we learn to let it go. This is the blessing. So what I started to realize is that I was in control of my life. For a long time, I didn't feel in control of a lot of these things. So my marriage, I felt a lot of out of control with that. I
Mhm.
felt out of control of how I was raising my son. Sorry, my dog. I'm out of control with my
The
dog. That's
dogs.
for sure. That's him. Hold on a second. See, I have to yell at him. That's the only way he knows.
Do what you got to do.
So, what I knew is that I wanted to have success and fulfillment in life. I just didn't know what that looked like. Okay. So, I wanted to be able to live life on my terms and do the things that were most important to me and be able to do them when I wanted to. So I definitely wasn't healthy enough to go hiking the way that I wanted to be able to go fly fishing the way when I wanted to be able to go on vacations when I wanted to. So I needed to be able to take care of the things that mattered most to me. So he really creating a lot of ruckus, isn't he? Hold on one second. It's so fun being able to work from home. Your dogs always interrupt, but this is the real life. We need
Right,
to be able
right.
to go do this from home. So here's what I just really wanted to be able to do. I wanted to be able to stay home with my son. I wanted to be able to help raise him. I wanted to be able to take care of my health. And to be honest with you, my career, my job was getting in the way of being able to take care of myself and do the things that mattered most to me because of the long hours, not being able to drink water, being able to fuel my body the way I needed to, not being able to get the exercise the way that I really wanted to, and things like that. And so I really started to get crystal clear on what I wanted, and I wanted to be in control of that. And when I started to actually desire that, I started to see other people like you, the thousands of other people that you get to be a part of and help, that wanted to be able to live life on their terms. And I think people do best when they're doing the things that matter most. So let me repeat that. I believe people are at their best when they're focused on doing the things that mattered most. And what mattered most to people was spending time with their families, creating memories and experience with them, being healthy enough to be able to go do those things and enjoy it, not going to Disneyland and worrying about if they can even freaking fit on the ride. That was me, right? Like all of those things. I didn't want to have that excess weight. It wasn't the physical weight. It was that mental weight that I was carrying, and be able to have the resources to be able to go do those things and enjoy life on their terms. And that's when I said, I wanted to coach. I wanted to pay it forward and help other people feel like they were in control of their life and be able to make choices that align for their values.
That's, that to me is basically the next evolution, the next level of this. When you talked about daily habits and choices and breaking it down into, is this going to help you or is this going to hurt you in your goals? My background is a little bit into teaching. I was a martial arts instructor for 12 years. My family, we owned our own school. And so I really had a background in relating to people as best as I could, as they needed me, I should say. And when you tend to break things down into smaller chunks like that and say, okay, individual levels, individual choices, this is how we're going to get to your goal, which one choose. So I just wanted to go back and touch on that real quick, but this being the next evolution of not only just an understanding of yourself and health, but when you pay it forward, when you are teaching. So it's like the steps of when I was teaching my students, it would be, okay, I need you to watch me is the first step. Watch me do this. And this is what we've all gone through. We've gone through our transformations. Yeah. We're telling our stories. People are watching us. And then the next step after that is to do it. Do your own transformation. And the next step after that is to teach it. So now we are making that leap into that, now helping other people and guiding them in their own transformations. And that to me is the next level, not only for our own health, but now we're reaching other people who are looking for us, who are looking for better health. So Anica, how has that really brought you to the next level when it comes to coaching, when it comes to your own business? What has that done for you?
Yeah, I never thought that I was going to own my own business because my parents owned their own business growing up. And so I watched them just really, really struggle as entrepreneurs. And I was like, I'm never doing that.
Right.
In fact, when I came into coaching, my mom thought I was absolutely asinine. She goes, you're going to do what? You have the opportunity to go to nursing school, all this stuff, and find, stability, right? I've never been more stable in my life, and thank God that I did this, because this is the law of reciprocity in what we do. Whenever you go give more value to people, the law of the economy, you should get incentivized more. And it's not just about the financial blessings, right, that give us opportunities to be able to go create more and do more and give back more the way we really want to. But that's really it. It's the heart deposit. So what I love so much about what we do in coaching is that we can always get better. We're always clients, right, Josh? I mean, we're always trying to get better as ourselves. We've never arrived, and that's awesome, right? So as we're helping other people get what they want, they're actually helping us stay accountable out of integrity for the things that we really are trying to accomplish. And so, whenever you have an opportunity like this where you're giving more value to people, you should always get incentivized more. And I think that's what I love about what we do so much is yes, we help with healthy body. We can help anybody get to a healthy body if you follow it precisely. The science behind it is absolutely impeccable. That's what I love behind it, and the ethics and all of that is great. But if you teach somebody how to think differently, then they start to do differently. And most of us are wanting success and fulfillment in life. Success is having options, right? It's having opportunities to go do the things that matter most to us. It's having the experiences and having the I don't want to say tangible items, but it is kind of to be able to go co-create more experiences in life. Now, fulfillment is what most people are lacking. And you can be really, really freaking successful in life, right?
Yeah.
But they may not have fulfillment. And what I saw out of this and what Dr. A talks about is really having good relationships with amazing people, growing as individuals, as human beings, but being able to give back to community contributions and give back. And when we don't give back, we don't feel like we're a part of something bigger than ourselves. And that's when I was like, this is why I love so much about what we do is the reciprocal relationship is as we work on giving value to ourselves and becoming the best versions of ourselves physically, mentally, emotionally, in our relationships, spiritually, financially, we're able to go give more value to everybody else. And isn't that the most beautiful thing? Because who doesn't need value right now? People are looking for solutions to their problems. There is nothing better than the fulfilling heart deposits I get every single day when somebody just calls me right now and they're like, I can't believe it. I haven't been here since high school. Or I have reduced the amount of medications that I'm on. I am not just surviving anymore. I am thriving. I'm being nicer to my kids. I'm more present with them. Those are the things that really matter most when it comes to the end of our life and our deathbed. It's not the money and the things, right? It's the impact that we've made on the lives of others and the legacy that we leave behind.
That's you're hitting right on the target of how I don't know how many people caught my talk last week on Wednesday when I was talking about community, but it's a shared experience. It's not a give or a take. We share our experiences, we share our victories because that fuels other people. And when we're learning from other people, like you're saying, we're learning ourselves. When we're giving out, it's coming back. The reciprocity of it is amazing. And so 100% agree that this is more accountability for anybody on a journey of health that is looking for health. And remember, health is not just, hey, I'm going to lose 20 pounds and I'm going to check out and say, peace out. I'm going back to my old life. Because it don't work that way. I'm sorry. It's not going to work that way. This is a lifelong journey. And if you want to be a healthy person, it is daily choices. And so having a community, having people that you're accountable to helps further that so much more. I can't state it enough, and neither can you. That is just how this works, and that's what boosts it. So that is one of the most incredible things, like you said, about this whole journey and this whole program is that's those healthy surroundings, what we're putting in front of our eyes, what we're putting in our mouth, and what's around us, what we're listening to. So I really can appreciate the fact that you're there, like, preaching the same message there that you got to have those healthy surroundings and they got to be plugged into the community. So Anica, before we wrap this up, I have one last question that I want to ask, and that is, if anybody out there is on the fence, thinking they want to do something for the health, they're uncomfortable right now, they're just not happy with where they're at, anything that you said they're relating to, or even my story or whoever's story, what is your advice to them? What is their next step?
I would just say, take a chance. You know, I was probably the most skeptical person before I came into this. And what I know now is that I wish I would have taken the leap sooner. It wasn't
Yeah.
my time. I totally get it. And timing has to be right for people, but you're never going to be ready. We're never ready in life. It's like we're never ready to buy a house or have kids or, like all of these things, we just figure it out along the way. It's just sometimes taking a leap of faith and hope that maybe
Yeah.
just this one last shot will be the time. And what I know is that there's a reason why hundreds and thousands of people have been successful doing what we're doing is because it works. And I never thought in a million years that it would work for me. But if it can work for me and it can work for you and hundreds of thousands of other people, we know that the proof there's integrity in numbers, right? And that's what I love about it is that I had to see that and the numbers just don't lie.
Yeah.
It just really doesn't. So I would just say, take a chance on you, take a chance on living a better life because you don't know what's possible until you say, I'm possible.
Yep. That's so true. I agree. I always say it's, sometimes it takes 20 seconds of courage to change your life. 20 seconds to walk through that door, 20 seconds to pick up the phone, 20 seconds to start that conversation. Just have 20 seconds of courage and your life can be completely different. And this is no different than that. So, you guys, if you're looking for better health, if you think something is different, I need a change, I need something different, there are people out there like myself, like Anica, like any of the guests we've had on here that are ready to meet you where you're at. We are ready to hear your story. We are ready to love on you. We are ready to help you, whatever your goals are, even figuring out what your goals would be. We're here for you. So if you're that person, feel free to reach out to either of us and take that 20 seconds of courage, pick up the phone, write that message on Facebook, and we're there for you. So, Anica, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your wisdom. Thank you so much for your words, pouring love into us. I know a lot of people have gotten stuff from this. I've gotten a lot from this. And let's just keep going out there and helping make the world healthier every single day. Okay?
You're an inspiration, my friend. Lots of love. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And go Dodgers.
Yes, go Dodgers, baby.
That's right. Game's on in like a half hour. Wrapping this up now.
Wrap it up, baby. We got
That's
World
right.
Series coming.
All right, Anica, we will talk to you later. Thank you so much. Everybody, tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. Pacific Daylight. I've been saying Pacific Standard Time, and nobody's told me any different. And I found it today. It's Pacific Daylight Time until November. So thank you for not saying anything to people and making me look like a dummy. So 6:30 Pacific Daylight Time tomorrow, Wednesday. I'm going to be talking about fat burn phase. So we'll see you then. Anica, thank you. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you later.